Beautiful fall day here in the Northwest. We've got a little bit of a early fall coming in, so temperatures have dropped quite a bit, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to take out my new Predator PDL from Old Town out on the water. This is the new 2020 model. Before I dump it in the water though, I wanted to show you the underside of the kayak here, since with it being up on the roof rack, that's the best opportunity. So you can see it's got a very sharp keel, so it's going to cut through the water really nice, but still has that kind of tri-hole design. As you look down the length of the kayak, you'll see there's a little bit of a recess on both sides of the keel. So that allows it to be a little bit more stable, and you can actually stand in this kayak, which is pretty neat. I'm gonna try that out today. We've got a little skid plate here on the back, which I've already put to use. Self-draining scuppers, and also there's a recess right here and a mounting bracket for mounting your fish finder. There's a hole that you can run up your wires up to the inside of the kayak there, and then into the cockpit so you can have your fish finder. This is that black cherry color, which I really like. So I'm gonna get this thing in the water. Today we're gonna be chasing some trophy fish. I'm really looking for some big crappie and largemouth bass. So we're gonna be targeting quality over quantity today in this new kayak, and let's see how it goes. There we go. That's what we're here for. Big crappies. Nice. Got one. So there we go, big crappie on the Predator series kayak. Gorgeous fish. So the Predator 2020 series uses the same PDL drive that Old Town uses in its Topwater series as well. And I did actually a cool comparison of the Hobie Mirage drive versus the Old Town PDL drive, and I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video, and also up above. So it's a bicycle style drive. If you want to go in reverse, so right now you can see I'm going about 1.3 miles per hour here. I can just simply reverse and it slows that down. So it's instant hands-free reverse. You can see I'm barely doing anything, and I'm going a nice 1.4 miles per hour here while I'm trolling for these crappie. So yeah, it's a great drive. It has a 5-year warranty on it, so you really can't beat that. So if anything goes wrong, you can just contact Old Town and they'll get you taken care of. Alright, I've been out in the Predator PDL 2020 here for a little bit. Thought I'd just go through a rundown. I want to fish it a few more times before I give sort of my feelings about how the boat performs on the water. But let's just look at some of the features of this kayak. It has a molded in handle here on the end, which gives you lots of gripping space. It has the single hand button, which is nice. Open it up. What's really cool is it got a little battery holder down inside here. You can slide your battery in there and zip it up. Keeps your battery nice and dry. It's located in close proximity to the scupper that leads down to the attachment for the transducer, which is actually really nice. There's a couple areas here to actually mount a fish finder. I would not personally mount my fish finder that far away up on the front of the or bow of the kayak, because then I couldn't actually reach it. But some people might choose to do that. Not my thing. See if I can get this with my single hand. Yep. So yeah, I pointed out that scupper right there. This is the PDL Drive, which I've talked about extensively in my other videos, and I'll put links to those. This one, like the other PDL Drives has a quick release lid, allows you to store things in there like your phone. That's all waterproof. This little clip here is what actually holds the drive up, and then you just pop it forward and drop it down into this. You release that by unlocking here. So to unlock, you just go like that, like that, and you can just grab the handle and the drive comes out. Okay, on both sides of the cockpit, they've got gear track built in, and on this board, which is good and bad. Right off the bat, I noticed an issue. I'm a big user of Ram's dual spline system, and unfortunately, there's not enough space to fit both of these on there to get that secure with both T-bolts. So I have two options. One is I might be able to find a longer bolt that will, I can turn sideways in here and lock it in that fat section. Or I'm gonna have to take this off and find somebody with a router that can route this out for me. Kind of frustrating. I get what they were doing here. They were trying to leave some space for people to drill things in and attach them permanently. But this is just too short, because here in the Northwest, when we're trolling for king salmon and other, we've got to use dual T-bolt systems or mighty mounts. And you wouldn't be able to fit a mighty mount in here, and you won't be able to fit this on here. Because what happens is now this thing just slides, and so I only have one connection. So that's a kind of a negative on the track system. We've got padding down here to make it quiet when you're standing and moving around in the kayak. A couple little rubber mesh to stop stuff coming out of your pockets there. And then that has self-draining scuppers. There's 6 of them in here, so it stays fairly dry. I did notice that when I put this in the water, I'll just show you real quick. Okay. When I stood in this, like I was getting in it, I noticed I got a lot of water was coming in. Kind of like that right there. It was actually not quite getting up into this pocket here, but something to be aware of. When I had the drive in here and I stepped in here, I was surprised how much water came in. Not a giant deal, but just be wary if you're going to put something down inside that you want to keep dry. Okay, continue on back. We've got the rudder control right here. So you can see that lowers the rudder, raises the rudder, and the rudder just locks in back here. Underneath this rudder, they actually have an area to mount a shallow water anchor system. So if you wanted to put a power pole in or something like that, it's all pre-bolted for that, which is pretty cool. So you just do that to secure the rudder. All right, let's go to the flip side, and they have a little clip for the paddle. The rudder is controlled here. You can go left or right, and they have this little bolt that you can tighten down that makes it hard to move. So if you're just going across the lake and you don't want to be fighting the rudder going back and forth, you can just simply tighten that or loosen that up. This is the Predator seat. It is an improvement over the topwater seat in my opinion in terms of padding and comfort. However, I'm still having the same issue that I've had with a topwater seat, which is when I slide back down and my butt's back in the seat, it's hitting up against, my lower back's hitting against that bar right there. I've tried tightening up the Velcro underneath here a bunch, as far forward as it will go, but it doesn't matter. I always end up hitting that bar. I don't know, I guess I'm just gonna have to wrap that bar and something. But yeah, I feel like there needs to be some restructuring in Old Town's seat engineering department. There's a lot of things I don't like about it. I think the seat is still the weak point of the Predator kayak, just as it is the weak point of the Topwater series. And here's a couple more thoughts. So there should be some clips here that hold the seat in, but I forgot the clips because they're just two little round clips that lock into this gear track that keep the seat in position and allow you to move it up and down this seat track system they have. And I really don't like how they attach their seats. First of all, there's an extra piece that if you leave at home, it really sucks. I ended up having to use 20-pound fluorocarbon, like looped 4 times and tied it up here to the gear track system, and that worked for the day, but it wasn't great. But I don't understand why they can't just come up with something that's permanently mounted into this, that your seat just clips or locks into, rather than having to pull this whole thing off, this whole assembly off, at least on one side, to remove the seat. It takes way longer than, say, my Hobies do. I can get my Hobie seats on and off in 10 seconds. This often takes me upwards of a minute or two, and I struggle with it every time. I feel like they just need to revisit this. The whole seat design system needs some revisiting. It's just not super positive experience in terms of everything else in this kayak's great, but this seat mounting and comfort, it's just not there. They have a nice little storage underneath, so you can throw tackle tray in there if you want to, or lunch or whatever. And then they have more storage on the backside, which is kind of nice. Now this kayak, like the Topwater series, has 3 rod holders. There's 2 reverse angle rod holders behind the seat and then 1 forward facing. This is nice because you can lock this in here, and then that makes it so that the lure or fish or whatever, you can work with the fish in your lap and not have to worry about losing the rod overboard. Alright, let's come to the back. We've got 2 more gear track systems in the back, which is actually pretty nice if you want to mount a safety flag or additional vertical rod storage. There's a bungee here that you can use to release, and then this is a very deep well, so you can put a lot in there. I'm excited about this deep well because this is going to make it really easy for me to put a big catch bag back here for king salmon and lingcod and stuff like that. So that's really nice, because that's always been one of the issues I've had with my Hobies, is not nearly enough storage space behind the seat to put that much catch. Okay, looks like they did have this here if you want to drill this out and put a circular hatch in there if you need to. Here's the rudder. The rudder has the handle that you use to lift up and down. I've been putting this up on top of the car now a couple times, no big deal. So overall, the length of this kayak is 13 feet 2 inches. It weighs 117 pounds with the drive in it, so it's pretty hefty. You take the drive out, that's 20 pounds off. I actually don't have any issue car topping it. It car tops nicely. It has a 500-pound capacity, which is impressive. It is very bowl-like. You get inside there, you feel like you're down inside the cockpit, even though you're not really. You actually have a fairly high seat. I like that component of it. So yeah, there's quite a lot of features there I really like. There's just some things that need some additional work. This is the black cherry color. It comes in a couple other different colors. I'm going to be testing this thing out on a variety of fisheries here in the fall. Mostly going to be walleye, bass, trout, that kind of thing. Our salmon season's kind of coming to a close. Not a very good run this year anyways. But if you have any questions about this kayak specifics, let me know. I'm going to put a link to the information about this kayak on the Old Town website below. Be sure and click that, go in there and just see all the different colors and the different features. If you have anything that you want me to address in future videos about this kayak, or you have questions about this kayak, let me know. And also be sure and check out my other series on the Old Town kayaks, including the Topwater 120 PDL. And I also compare that PDL drive to the Hobie Mirage drive. Ultimately, I want to face this Predator 2020 PDL up against the Hobie Revolution that I've been fishing out of the past decade, and just see how well they match up. Alright guys, till next time, see you later.